are the names of her father, of her husband, and even sometimes of her father-in-law. It takes 3 men to identify a woman. So I was standing with my husband in front of the officer's counter. I presented my file first. The officer who was checking my file noticed that I did not fill the physical details. So he stared at me and wrote, height 5 feet 10 inches. Please keep the number in mind. I was surprised. I asked him, how did you guess? He answered, we see so many people that we end up having a compass in the eye. Wow. I signed, he stamped, then he took my husband's file. The officer, without looking at my husband, wrote, height 5 feet 11 inches. But my husband was shorter than I. So I asked the officer, where went the compass in your eye? He answered, ma'am, men are always taller than women. I'm not a fierce feminist. I have studied political science and psychoanalysis. I have made my way in my own way. The famous French psychoanalyst Lacan said there is no such thing as women. There are womens, each one her way. I'm not a fierce feminist, but I cannot feel that our Lebanese-oriented society is sick. Religion has blacklisted women, and so did politics. For a long time, women's field was locked behind the walls of their houses. Look to our cuisine and social rituals. It takes hours, sometimes days, to prepare محشي ورق عريش or مغلي. Well, it keeps women busy in their kitchens, or it kept women busy in their kitchens. I'm not a fierce feminist, but I want to address a criticism to Lebanese women. I think that they are playing an active part in the perpetuation of the patriarchal system through the education and influence they have on both their sons and daughters. October 17th witnessed the collapse of the patriarchal and political system in Lebanon. Why did the system collapse? The reason could fill an encyclopedia, but in my opinion, we can sum them in confessionalism, nepotism, clientelism, corruption. The country and its leaders are bankrupt. Symbolically, we can even say that they are dead. The politicians, not the country. Although the leaders do not realize or acknowledge the facts yet. The political system based on patriarchal values is dead. Could part of this failure be imputed to the absence, or shall I say exclusion and absence, of women? Very early in the Thawra, slogans filled the places. As-Thawra Unsa, As-Thawra Mar'a. Revolution is feminine, revolution is a woman. We have to rebuild our country. After the 75-90s war, there was a reconstruction plan for the infrastructures, roads, services, buildings. Today, we have to address a much more important issue, the reconstruction of the Lebanese citizen. This task needs the commitment of all the population, and when I say all, I mean all, not 50% of it. We need the input of women and men. Why do we need women's implication? For their sake and for the community's sake. Women have more empathy, more perseverance, because it's harder for them to reach their objectives. Women obviously have less testosterone, so their egos are less at stake. I am sure that among the younger generations, a Lebanese Angela Merkel is ready to lead the reconstruction of Lebanon. But there is this glass ceiling over women's heads, and the most important resistance comes from within. I read lately that more than 95% of the feminine voters voted for men in the 2018 election. The voices of women candidates are not heard. Here comes AFAL, here comes Siyasiyyat. What is AFAL? Halfway between social commitment and politics, AFAL is an NGO attracting people wanting to be part of change. For years, we have suffered ill treatments from our politicians without complaining. Of course, here, yes, but I don't know. In Washington, those who still know Arabic grammar, we have been the perfect passive maf'ul bihi. Afaal is the plural of fa'al, and fa'al means action. Afaal is the vehicle for those who want to become active, fa'il. Within Afaal, a group of women created Siyasiyyat in order to highlight the reasons why more women should take part in politics, vote, and stand for elections, and highlight the benefits this would give to society. What is Siyasiyyat? على وزن فاعلات. Notice the shaddi. I thought I would have the clip. Siyasiyyat. There is a shaddi to introduce the feminine, but it is symbolic of our determination. Dealing with gender mainstreaming in light of the male-dominated political context in Lebanon, women, especially vocal and outspoken, who reach high decision-making levels, often face negative attitudes ranging from reluctance to open hostility. By chance or coincidence, Siyasiyyat made an encounter of the third kind. We met with Friedrich Naumann Foundation. FNF for Freedom has a program, I quote, to help people to become actively involved in political affairs. One of Friedrich Naumann himself motto was, a strong democracy needs responsible citizens. And here is where the bat hurts. The politicians in Lebanon never thought of Lebanese people as citizens, but as their clients. Siyasiyyat, in cooperation with FNF for Freedom, is actually putting in place a program, a workshop, that has the sole objective of empowering women in order to allow them to reach their maximum potential and actively work to eradicate the hostility toward women in public office. In 2 words, make them take the plunge into political responsibilities. Siyasiyyat, S-I-Y-A-S-I-Y-Y-A-T. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I wanted to share with you the main lines of the workshop. That is, the first one will take place in August. So I sum it up: identifying the challenges that prevent women's participation in politics, understanding the electoral law in order to get prepared for the next elections in May 22, learning how to lobby, plan, campaign, how to ameliorate networking skills, improving public speaking and communication, learn how to fundraise, and we know the importance of what we call the electoral money bulldozer effect, so there will be need for money, leadership and team building, learning crisis management, conflict resolution and mediation, getting inspired by Lebanese or international role models, etc. Although I told you to identify a woman, it needs father, husband, father-in-law. Although I'm called Pierre, the fourth man to identify me, I have also a daughter, Maria, who is 27 years old. She is very talented and determined young woman. I am involved with Siyasiyyat in order to help open doors for her generation. Lebanon will not arise if amputated of half of his wealth. We need to empower women to help them overcome the glass ceiling over their heads. I want to participate in making this turnaround a reality. Let me conclude with Amin Maalouf, who says, the disappearance of the past is easy to console. It is from the disappearance of the future that we do not recover. It is crucial to prepare the future, especially that, as the French poet says, La femme est l'avenir de l'homme. Women are men's future. Lebanese women are Lebanese men's future. Thank you.